My name's Ian Davis. I'm Professor of Medicine and Head of the Eastern Health Clinical School at Monash University in Australia. I'm a medical oncologist, which is a cancer specialist, and I also have the privilege of being Chair of ANZUP Cancer Trials Group. ANZUP stands for the Australian and New Zealand Urogenital and Prostate Cancer Trials Group, which is a bit of a mouthful. We call it ANZUP for short. Urogenital and prostate means cancers of the urinary tract. So we're talking about prostate cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer and testicular cancer mainly. ANZUP has members in every state and territory of Australia, in New Zealand as the name suggests, and also internationally. To be a member of ANZUP you need to be a person who is involved in the care of people with cancer as a clinician or in the research of these conditions. ANZUP is made up of a group of clinicians, researchers and members of the community from all sorts of different areas. Amongst the clinicians, for example, there are medical oncologists, the cancer specialists, radiation oncologists who give radiotherapy, urologists who perform the surgery, there are scientists, there are psychologists, there are nurses, there are consumers, there are people who keep track of where the cancers are happening and how often they're happening, and there are people who are doing the basic research. We can't do the work that we need to do without bringing all of these people together. And the beauty of ANZUP is that we do bring them all together in a very productive way, and we can ask questions that are broader than simply, does this drug shrink cancer? We can ask many more questions than that, and all of those things go to improve the outcomes for our patients. We also have a very active consumer advisory panel where members of the community are appointed by the ANZUP board to provide us advice on what the key issues are for the community and to help us communicate back to the community the results of our research. They also play a very important role in advocacy and also in fundraising. ANZUP looks after cancers of the urinary tract: prostate cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer and testicular cancer. Two of those cancers only happen in men, so men's health is a very important thing for us. Prostate cancer is the commonest cancer in Australia. Even if you count women, it's the commonest cancer, and women don't get prostate cancer. Testicular cancer is the commonest cancer that occurs in young men. So even though it's very curable, it causes a lot of problems for young men and a large burden on society in terms of treatment. Bladder cancer and kidney cancer occur in women as well, and we see roughly around 3,000 cases of each of those every year. We need to improve outcomes for these sorts of cancers for everybody. ANZUP has very productive links with other groups internationally. We've already performed clinical trials with groups in the United Kingdom. We work closely with Canada, the United States, regional areas around the Asia-Pacific area. We're going to continue to evolve those links. We have trials active currently and others in planning that are going to involve cooperative groups elsewhere around the world. The people who are doing the clinical trials in ANZUP, the clinicians and everybody else involved, are not paid for this work. This is all work that they're doing as part of their normal day-to-day practice. It does cost money though. Each blood test we do needs to be paid for. Each scan we do needs to be paid for. These sorts of things require resources that we just don't have. None of this results in any money that is going into any of our pockets. All of the resources that ANZUP receives are passed directly on to perform the clinical trials and to improve outcomes for our patients.